On February 28, 2026, the world changed forever. The United States and Israel launched the most audacious military strike in a generation, killing Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, destroying Iran's nuclear facilities, and triggering a war that is now threatening to collapse the entire global economy. Oil has crossed $100 per barrel. The Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil passes, is effectively closed. Over 500 ships are trapped, and Iran is threatening $200 oil. This is not just a Middle East conflict. This war is already in your wallet, and it is just getting started. Here is the full story, from how it started, to what is happening right now, to what comes next.
To understand this war, you need to go back just a few weeks. In January 2026, Iran's government violently crushed its own people. Iranian security forces killed thousands of protesters during the largest uprising since the Islamic Revolution. Trump threatened military action against Iran directly in response. Then came the nuclear question. At the State of the Union on February 24th, Trump accused Iran of secretly restarting its nuclear weapons program and developing missiles capable of striking the United States. Days later, the IAEA confirmed Iran had hidden highly enriched uranium in an underground facility. And just 3 days before the strikes, Iran's foreign minister said a historic deal was within reach, diplomacy was alive. But Trump said he was not thrilled with the talks. Given Iran's weakened position after years of sanctions, protests, and previous strikes, Washington and Tel Aviv calculated they had a greater opportunity through military means than diplomacy. On February 28th, they pulled the trigger.
The attack was surgical, simultaneous, and devastating. US and Israeli forces launched surprise airstrikes on multiple sites and cities across Iran, killing Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and numerous senior Iranian officials in a single operation. The primary targets were three: the leadership, the nuclear program, and the missile capabilities. US B-2 bombers dropped GBU-57 bunker buster bombs, the most powerful conventional weapons in America's arsenal, on Iran's underground nuclear facilities at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. But did it work? A preliminary intelligence assessment leaked to the press concluded that Iran had moved much of its enriched uranium before the strikes, and the underground facilities were not fully collapsed. The strikes may have set back Iran's nuclear program by only months. The CIA immediately pushed back, saying new intelligence showed severe damage that would take years to rebuild. 2 agencies, 2 conclusions, and a war already in motion. Iran's response was immediate, and it was everywhere. Iran launched hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles at targets in Israel and at US military bases in Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates, all in a single wave. The Gulf, one of the most important economic regions on Earth, became a war zone overnight. Bahrain alone has intercepted 114 missiles and 190 drones since the war began. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, all under sustained attack. A Dubai skyscraper was struck by an Iranian drone. And then Hezbollah joined in. Hezbollah resumed missile and drone fire at Israeli military sites, and Israel greatly expanded its airstrikes in Lebanon, bombing Beirut once again. Within 72 hours of the first strike, the entire Middle East was on fire. As of today, at least 1,444 people have been killed and over 18,000 injured in Iran alone from US and Israeli strikes, with victims ranging from 8 months to 88 years old. But Iran's most powerful weapon was not a missile, it was geography. The Strait of Hormuz, a narrow choke point between Iran and Oman, and the single most important waterway in the entire global economy. Roughly 27% of the world's maritime trade in crude oil and petroleum products passes through this strait every single day. Iran declared the strait closed. About 500 oil and gas tankers, 500 container ships, and 6 cruise ships are now trapped on either side of the channel. At least 22 civilian vessels have been attacked, and the economic damage was instant. Brent crude oil prices surged from around $70 to over $100 per barrel within days. Gasoline prices in the US jumped above $4 per gallon, the highest since 2023. European natural gas prices nearly doubled after Qatar's gas facilities were struck. Iran's message to the world was brutally clear. The IRGC warned, "You will not be able to artificially lower the price of oil. Expect oil at $200 per barrel." Iran threatened any vessel linked to the US or its allies would be considered a legitimate target. The war will cut global oil supply by about 8 million barrels a day in March alone, the International Energy Agency estimated, an unprecedented supply shock.
This is where the war stops being about the Middle East and starts being about you. It is not just oil. The Strait of Hormuz carries fertilizers, aluminum, helium, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, and industrial chemicals. 1/3 of the world's urea fertilizer transits through this strait. Urea prices have already risen 35%. Your food, your electronics, your car, all connected to this one narrow waterway. Around 8% of the world's aluminum is produced in the Persian Gulf. Smelters in Qatar and Bahrain have already paused shipments, pushing aluminum prices to their highest level in nearly 4 years. Analysts project that if disruptions persist, oil could surpass the 2022 peak of $127 per barrel, or even reach the all-time record of $147. Every 10% rise in oil prices adds 0.4% to global inflation. As one analyst wrote in Foreign Policy, this is the first conflict since World War II to directly impact cities and facilities that serve as hubs of the globalized economy. So what happens next? 3 possible scenarios. Scenario 1, quick US victory. Iran's regime collapses from internal pressure, military devastation, and economic isolation. The strait reopens, oil prices crash back down, the war ends within weeks. Probability? Possible, but Iran has survived 40 years of sanctions and pressure before. Scenario 2, prolonged stalemate. Iran keeps the strait partially closed for months. Oil stays above $100. Global inflation spikes. The US faces growing domestic opposition. Both sides negotiate a face-saving deal. Probability? Most likely scenario, according to analysts. Scenario 3, full regional escalation. If critical Gulf infrastructure, particularly Saudi Arabia's Ras Tanura refinery or UAE's Jebel Ali port, sustains significant damage, the supply impact would be immediate, severe, and potentially irreversible in the short term. Oil at $200, global recession, and a Middle East conflict that pulls in more and more players. The world is at a crossroads, and the next 30 days will determine which path we take.
This is the most important geopolitical story of 2026, and it is moving fast. Subscribe to this channel. We break down every major development every single week, so you always know what is really happening in the world. Drop your answer in the comments. Do you think the US made the right call attacking Iran? Yes or no? Let's see where this community stands. Until next time, stay informed, stay sharp. The world does not wait.